times we do the same thing. We do the same thing over and over again. We want to get an outcome, but we want the outcome directly. And then we judge ourselves from falling short from that. If I tell you do $1 million right now, at this instance, right? It's gonna be tough. Well, what are you gonna do? For 99% of people, that's not an outcome that makes sense. That's not an outcome that you can just do. And so does that make you a loser? No. That wouldn't be fair to say, right? If I tell you you'll gain 50 pounds, how are you gonna do that right now? Can't. You can't do it now because, you know, naturally it doesn't make sense. So we understand it when it comes to those things, but when we come to apply it, we become really like tough on ourselves because of that. It's the same thing with progress in any realm, is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to get at. If you're trying to change a habit and you're trying to get over smoking cigarettes, you're trying to get over drinking, you're trying to get over this porn addiction, right? So one, the outcome at the instant, boom, pop, like that's it, I'm done. Okay, moving on. Cold turkey is a way, right? That's called cold turkey. It is a way, right? The problem with that is that since you can't skip the pain, that pain part of change, you're gonna have to face it. And if you don't face it, you're just pushing it away until it hits you back. If you don't struggle out of it, out of that change, if there's not a period of adaptation of change, you're not gonna be able to have truly become somebody that's over something. And so we gotta think further than the moments. We gotta look down the line. Down the line, I want to not have to deal with this no more. I don't want to look at or, you know, be even interested in cigarettes anymore. So what I'll do is I'll start to fall forward. What I'm aiming for now is progress from my state to another one. The example is this. You start, let's say we smoke a pack a day. Okay. The next day, you smoke 3/4 of that pack. That last quarter, you make a deal with yourself that you'll exchange those for something else that you like. That's not necessarily good or perfect, but it's better than cigarettes. If beyond the cigarette thing, you also kind of like, you really like cookies, okay? You make a deal with yourself. Hey, like those last 6, last 4, last 3, I'll sacrifice them in exchange for a cookie, okay? Now, you're aware that the cookie thing is not good. You're also aware of this exchange that you made with yourself, but you got to do it. So you know it's not perfect, but you're going to be happier with yourself because you moved on to something else. You moved on to a bit less of an issue. And that's how you make permanent change, by progressing and by allowing yourself to experience that change, by allowing things to move. So you keep going this way. The next time, it doesn't have to be a day. Maybe for some of us it's a week per stage. Maybe it's but this way guarantees that the results would be longer too. I've seen people, and I've experienced this myself, where I quit things cold turkey and I found myself falling back. But if you apply that same mentality, right? If your change is from full in to cold turkey, then when you go cold turkey and you fall back, you're going to fall back all the way down. That's the exchange that we make when we go cold turkey. Is that you started here, you go cold turkey, now you're here. If you fall back, this whole space is empty. You know nothing about how to handle all this. And so you were not drinking, now you quit cold turkey to drinking. One day something comes up or it gets tough, pop, you fall down back to drinking a whole bottle by yourself. Okay? And the same thing with porn, same thing with every vice, everything. And this is something we can take and apply and remind ourselves of, whether it is negative self-talk, whether it is, vices, whatever it is. And so my point here is to say that we have to, in this process, make sure that we're not unreasonably hard on ourselves. What do you expect from yourself? You've been struggling with this for X amount of time, and now all of a sudden, at this exact instance, you want perfection? That's not fair. And as I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to me. No matter what it is that we're struggling with, we have to remind ourselves that, what am I expecting of myself right now? Am I really expecting that I'll just close my eyes and open them and moving on to be a whole other person? No. And so don't try to escape that pain part. That's because sometimes we use cold turkey as almost thinking it's a cheat code, and we can cheat and not face the pain of change. That's not how things work. So if things take more time, they will last longer. And if you want change, which is permanent, you gotta skip no steps in that progress. And what's gonna happen inevitably is that you're gonna want to, or even if you don't do it on purpose, you will find yourself falling back, but it won't be as bad because you had suffered this whole time with all these different steps. You're gonna have something that will make you feel like, I've worked for this, I want to maintain this. And watching yourself put in that much effort, it's like it allows you to sell yourself on where you're at more than the interest you had in the vice, to the point where the vice or the distraction, no matter what it was, doesn't interest you anymore. And so this is something that I'll touch in another video, but I want to start it here. If you're watching this to this point, and 7 minutes in, I'm trying to give you the whole package of what I understand about it here, the most value. The thing is this, there are 2 ways to implement change, right? The first way is intensity in no, we got to do this, no, look, this how we're gonna do it, blah blah blah. And in that moment of intensity, much like you can do in the gym and stuff like that, you push things to move forward and grow. Boom. Okay. The second one, which is more of this approach here, is a softer one. Softer. You don't go in bam, you go in as smooth. Sometimes the first step is not even to change anything, not even to make a deal, nothing. The first step you're gonna make, the first step in all of the times that I have to make changes in my life was I do the exact same action to the same. I allow yourself to go through the motions, but this time be aware. Embrace the feeling or whatever it is that you're doing. You're smoking cigarettes, okay, boom. Take that cigarette, sit with it, look at it, and really be conscious as you're doing it. Don't judge yourself, none of that. Be aware of the emotions you feel. Do the whole thing without trying to escape that. Feel the smoke come in, the smoke come out. Be aware of how you felt before. Be even more aware of how you're feeling after that puff. Do the whole thing and change nothing and move on. That's the second way to create change. Is a subtle. You start in subtlety. You're not trying to trigger yourself, because, and it's the same thing with people. This is where we realize that to know ourselves would allow us to know people as well. You start to know yourself more. You see how you react to you. If you try to come in too hard, with your own habits, you won't react well. Just like other people won't react well to what you want to bring as change sometimes. Because sometimes there's ego involved. Ego doesn't like, to not have control. And that's usually where our habits lie. Our habits usually lie in ego. Ego is the pattern, is the image, the illusion of self, all that, right? And I'm not trying to bring this into like a La La Land self-help stuff, but it's really down to earth when you realize it. It's the patterns that we have to start really slick. You want to like sort of sneak into it. You be aware of it. Now you start to change this, change that, until you're at a level that you're comfortable with. And when you're at that level, now you have found a ground that you know that under it is stuff. Under this earth that we walk on, we walk with confidence that there is more under it. You see what I'm trying to say? It's not a void. That's what makes it that you don't walk around fearing that the ground is gonna just fall down like a cave in. Same thing with ourselves. That's how you'll be able to walk around with more confidence about who you are and about your character and about not falling back into bad habits, because you would have built it up to this new ground now, and you'll have lost interest in everything that's under the ground. That'll be dead. So yeah, I hope this was valuable. What we touched on today was that there's two ways to induce change. One is more intensity, and in that moment of intensity is to push forward towards where we want to go. The second one is to slick our way into change, to start by being aware, and then to make small exchanges towards falling forward and exchanging habits for some that are less bad. And if we can do that, we can create permanent change, rather than moving on cold turkey into things and finding ourselves having no experience as to how to fall back because we have left a gap too strong, too big. Don't try to duck the pain. There's easier way into it. You don't have to face everything at once, and that's why moving slickly into things allows you to create better change and to make it manageable. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe, by the way. I'd really appreciate it, so that I can feel like this helps people and allows me to be more inspired to keep doing them. See you guys on the next one.